Trump.
What did he not talk about in that damn press conference? It went from Goya beans to everything Biden didn't do in his 30 whatever years or so in Washington, including his as vice president. Where did he start with? Infrastructure. And like, mind you, like everything he said made no damn sense. Like he's like, Biden said that he will fix the roads. Well, we've been doing a great job. We fixed the roads. Why didn't you do anything? Biden said he fixed the railroads. He said he fixed the railroads. He didn't do it. Like when he speaks, he makes no sense. And like this was like even worse. Then he went into talking about the suburbs, and like he was like, they want to take your suburbs away. How do you take the suburbs away?
Just like building that wall, you know what I'm saying?
He speaks, my head hurts. It's really ridiculous.
When he was promoting that whatever that shit was, I was like, how you promoting during a pandemic?
But I mean, like his daughter did it before, and even though it's illegal and they're not supposed to be doing that, the fact of the matter is, for real, like it's illegal. They're not supposed to be doing that. They've done it before though, and like nobody ever punishes them for it. So hell, he gonna sit there. They gonna go your beans their way all day. No one on that side of the aisle wants to do anything to him or his people. So whenever someone like praises him and a bunch of other people be like, we're gonna boycott them, yeah, you're gonna expect there'd be like a whole like flat palette of whatever that product is that he's trying to promote to support whoever it is and support him.
I'm still looking for this second option, third option, hopefully.
You ain't feeling Biden at all, huh?
Listen. I'm not feeling no man that went on the Breakfast Club and said, "You're not voting for me. You're not black." I'm all good with that.
I respect it.
I just want to make sure we got a third option.
We ain't got one.
Democratic convention would have been sometime this month, right? And even though Biden is the presumptive nominee, he's not the official nominee, right? So really, all these primaries that are still going on or have been suspended, if enough people wanted to write Bernie Sanders in or somebody else, they could have. And like Texas had like a little primary like earlier this week for like DA and a couple of other like, congressional seats and judges and stuff like that. And a lot of the progressives won in Texas. Like Texas is, you would think Texas, you think like red state Republican, but it's been like inching toward Democratic for a minute. And now you got a lot of progressives winning and people are like, well, damn, like how did Bernie really lose Texas in the primary considering how many progressives like just won out there? So like if like, I'm pretty sure he did, but that's just one of those things where it's like, man, if we can do this primary all over again, especially knowing what we know now, I think Bernie probably would have ended up being a nominee. Because everything that, he talked about and everything that he was pushing for is exactly what we need now in the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? You talk about Medicare for all. Everybody who lost their job lost health benefits. Like, it's like, what, 6 million people at least that lost their health benefits because it was tied to their jobs?
I'm about to say that's it.
It's probably more than that if we being honest, but they're trying to downplay it. But I'm pretty sure it's more than that because if 30 million people lost their jobs, I'd imagine it's way more than 5 million people that had their healthcare tied to their job.
Yeah.
So,
well, at least consider the fact that most people probably either didn't have it or probably just lost it because of the fact that they couldn't afford it after this whole pandemic even started.
I still don't answer the question why he promoting some damn stuff during the pandemic. Like niggas got money to buy it. That y'all still.
You're right during the pandemic, but because he don't care about the pandemic. That's why he don't care about the pandemic. Listen, as long as Trump, and I don't mean Trump Jr., Eric Trump. I mean as long as Trump himself, Oompa Loompa 45. As long as he himself is negative. He don't give a damn about nobody else.
Jada.
The first moment I even heard the red talk table and Will was coming on, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a pretty good conversation. I'm thinking ain't nothing really happened. So immediately I see a little memes of him crying. So I'm like, damn, Jada done got this man really blushing out here. That's crazy. it wasn't until I looked at the interview that I was like, oh shit, like this is serious. Like I ain't think it was, even though this was years ago, I was like, damn, this man's still hurt. You could see it at the end of the interview where he was like, I'm gonna get you back. And usually I was like, he meant that shit for real. He was like, Jada thought it was, I was like, nah, he gonna find himself in an entanglement sooner or later. Watch. Wait till all this die down. You gonna see Will Smith in the headline.
Combo, do you believe that he handled it well during the interview?
I'm telling you right now, I would not be able to handle that. I'm telling you right now, I would have caught it wrong.
Will got some dirt as well?
I mean, if she do, that would have been the perfect time to say it.
You couldn't deny he was reliving some pain. Like clearly, he was reliving some pain, and her explanation at first was not hitting it. That entanglement with August, he wasn't trying to hit him. Nah, he was like, nah, what's an entanglement? I need you to define what that is. Like he wanted to be just put out there what happened to him, right? But like,
he said, be clear and concise. If you use the word,
you're right. You know, the other part that sticks out in the interview for me was when they were talking about where they were at the beginning of that whole quote unquote entanglement. And he when he said he was done with her ass, like he put that as strong as any man could say about a woman. Like, bro, when you done with a woman, you done.
Margaret Robbie, Eva Mendes, Charisse Theron. I've been saying it for the longest. He got some people in his black book.
I'd imagine he served some of that Philly PP to them too. The fact of the matter is that all three of them women, they were able to keep their mouths closed.
He came to them talking about, I need some healing. Jada.
Hold up now. This show ain't about bashing people. We all know Jada is Dr. Hawthorne on her old show. Okay? So if the boy need healing, fine now, ain't it? Marlon, he said, if I die now, I would die happy. Jada got that good. And y'all making a big deal out of this. Wolverine and Jean Grey had an entanglement. You know?
All right, time out. Jean Grey herself is the entanglement, okay? Jean Grey and Wolverine, them two are two entanglements in and of themselves. Because Wolverine done mess around with everybody around the world. Wolverine got a baby mama in Japan, and he got a baby mama like somewhere like Russia or America somewhere. Like, we can't talk about Wolverine and like pretend like he's not in entanglement by himself. And so Jean
he wasn't pining after Jean Grey. That's what you gonna tell me? Huh?
I'm not saying he wasn't. But I mean, that fits into his mode. Facts is fact. Will clearly had a lot of pain. Like, it's a painful situation, and Jada seemed to be the only one that's basically being nonchalant. Like, yeah, I did it. You know, and I grew from it. And not to say that she wasn't hurting in that time. It's just that, you know, the way she just conveyed it was more like, okay, I did it. So can we move on?
Nick can't.
I just don't like the fact that he apologized. Stop apologizing. If you meant it, you meant it.
This was like somebody rehashed like this interview he did with DJ Vlad. And the quotes that he basically got in trouble for, to be honest, a lot of it came from Minister Farrakhan, where he, in essence, he was kind of for real. So he was talking about like, his point was that, and y'all probably have heard this before from, you know, other people when they want to bring up talking about like, you know, the history of like Jews and stuff like that. And like how the original Jews were African, basically they're black. And his point was trying to get into how, because the African Jews were basically the blessed ones, the blessed people of the land, the ones who weren't as melanated, aka white, basically had to turn to savagery and animalistic instincts to get by and so on, and that they eventually evolved. And it was an old interview, but somehow that got rehashed this week. And he at first didn't apologize for it. That was the funny part. At first he was all like, yeah, Viacom played this game and stuff like that, and how like he was trying to get ownership of like, you know, of his show, you know, Wild 'N Out and some of his other, you know, ventures that he had going on, and then he put out the apology. But like I watched the video And then I went and watched the whole interview because I wanted context. Like, maybe we need to talk to some Jewish people because, like, I need to understand where the anti-Semitism really came in there. And I only say that because I get where the tone, because he was trying, like he even said in the clip, like, I'm gonna try to say this without like being offensive and stuff like that before he went to his point. And his point wasn't tied to like of the Jews of today. It was more or less tied to like the origin of Judaism, so to speak. So I don't get where outside of the perceived, I guess, the perceived bigoted trope, of Jews basically now own the world, or Jews basically have all the money and so on and so forth. Like, outside of those known racist stereotypical tropes, like, I didn't really see what was so anti-Semitic about what he said. But apparently Charlemagne talked to some people, and apparently he was told, yeah, what he said was effed up. And Nick Cannon talked to some people and apparently basically it was effed up. So maybe I'm missing
in context, in the streets, Marlon talk all political.
I get all that. Yeah, I do that.
In the streets, what happened was people didn't watch the full interview, so they took out simple words what he said, and the main thing was he said white people are savages, black people started off as Jews, white people are also animals. The man in Vicon is white. He owns MTV, he owns BT, he owns PBS, he owns VH1. Asked Nick to apologize. He did not apologize, so they scraped the new episode of Wildin' Out and they pulled it off the network. Started to realize that Nick Cannon has no ownership of Wildin' Out. He done fucked up a check for half his people. And then he talked to his rabbis and all that stuff that Nick's into now with Turban. And he seamlessly apologizes like later that night. And then this morning he put up a post saying that he's stepping away from the media right now and going to work on himself and apologize to the Jewish people. But people are still upset that he didn't apologize to the white people saying what he said. Go ahead, Combo. What you think, man?
Like I said, I think I'm gonna allude to what Marlon said is that I'm probably gonna have to go ahead and watch it in full just so that I can get some a little bit more context. But from what y'all saying right now, I'm gonna still say that I wouldn't apologize for it. But what I do like have a concern about is that because he's been having this show Wildin' Out for like seasons, like almost like a decade now. I'm surprised that he doesn't have full ownership of the show. So it kind of threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
But when you can't take this show and literally, like you're the face of this show to us. You know, in the back of our minds, we were thinking that okay, you got 85% of the show. You can take it to go to Revolt. You can go take it to other platforms and just go ahead and make money for it. It shouldn't be that big of an issue.
Marlon, don't you think it's crazy that BET is ran by a white man?
No.
I mean, Bob Johnson sold it. He, Bob Johnson was black. He had it. He sold it to white people. So that's on him. But them Bob Johnson people, no, for real, them Bob Johnson people. Bob Johnson don't hang around a lot of black people like that. And granted, like, Bob Johnson will tell you certain things that sound like he pro-black, but let me be clear, bro. Bob Johnson is a nicer version of Clarence Thomas, the judge. I wouldn't trust neither one of them. So to that end, like, it don't surprise me none that it got so. That's why Viacom owned BET, MTV, all that stuff. So, and on top of that, that's why it don't surprise me that Nick Cannon don't have any really ownership stake in Wildin' Out. Because why would they, being the conglomerate that ownership is, because you talk about them owning, CBS, like the networks that are under CBS include a whole lot of news and media networks and stuff like that. So, like, you think they're gonna really give ownership and free will to the guy who owns Wildin' Out? Nah, that won't happen. And like until that's why. What's that guy's name? I want to say his name might be Will Smith. Whoever the guy, the Will something. This guy who's trying to like establish like a black owned, like a truly black owned like network of cable. But if that guy gets started and Nick Cannon can take his stuff to like that guy, like man, like that would be amazing. Like that'd be something. We need that because even if he had some ownership, where would he take it to? Because all you're doing is you exchanging one, to be no pun intended, but you exchanging one white master for another one.
True.
So like hitting on combo topic is like Wild Not been going on for a while now.
Years, man.
Off the air, and he still ain't got ownership. Like he had his like before Wild Out, like he was the face of Nick owning that company a little bit, but he knew about ownership within that. Like he had stock in that. Now he can't go back over there now because that's Kenny and Kel turf. But he should have had some type of egg in the basket for ownership, man. So that's part I don't get about all that shit going on.
Well, I can't. Well, in some truths, I mean, it just upsets me to see that still going on now when we kind of learned from Michael Jackson, that these media companies really don't care about giving you the full ownership. That when you see Nick Cannon and you see how far he actually has been in the game, and you see that he has this very successful show, that he doesn't actually make sure that, hey, if I need to move it, we can move it. You know what I mean? Just as a backup plan at that point.
But can we say? I know we against it, but can we give props to Viacom for one reason and one reason alone? Boy, they some mafia Suge Knight type of bosses. Boy, they said apologize. What? Apologize. What? You know what? Boom. Boy, they snatched that. They snatched that quicker than they found the killer for Breonna Taylor. They just.
The nigga said, you can make all the jokes you want. I don't care.
Go ahead, you unemployed.
Done. Like even Fox was like, "Yo, we'll give you a day to get it right." Like, nah, like.
People, like, nope. Oh, I'm gonna watch this new episode of Wild 'N Out. Let me watch it. Fresh Prince in West Philadelphia.
Man.
Is that literally they just re-signed to like 8 more seasons. So they ain't give no fucks.
Yeah.
Wow, shit.
I'm Viacom.
Can you imagine that? That's like a nigga telling you, hey, go to work for 8 more months, and all of a sudden you say, hey man, I got sick. Nah, fuck your contract.
Yeah. If I'm Viacom, I ain't giving it back. For what?
Damn. Yo, he got Antonio Brown big time, yo. That was the Antonio Brown like comedy, man. Because the Raiders was like, yo, we gonna cut you and we give you your money back. Like, this is what this happened. That's crazy, man. Nick will be all right though. He'll bounce back regardless. I'm not worried about him.
He will bounce back. But this show started him. This show put him on the map and that type of work. If it wasn't for this show right here, this is baby. And to see that that you can't like Combo said, P. Diddy is offering a handout. Oh, you come to me. I own my. You going to leave one master to go work for another master. You should own your stuff, and then at the same time, you can't take that format. That's their format.
Yeah. But you know what though? This kind of, I know this is gonna be a little bit hard to say, and I'm gonna say this real quick. Steve Harvey actually alluded to this when he was talking to
Monique.
Was it Monique? He was alluding to this. He said you got to be careful. I think that's what he was trying to say in the undertone way, that you got to be careful what you say around these people because they'll literally just snatch everything up, and it's not just affecting you. Just imagine the people that coming up behind you and the people that you got to pay in order to make sure their lifestyle is straight. Because DC Young Fly, Carlos Miller, Chico Bean, they got their own podcast, so they could probably eat a little bit, but they ain't gonna eat as much. But when you go to talking about
he said they ain't gonna eat as much.
That's facts though. You're right though.
No, you know how much YouTube ain't gonna pay you like that now.
Nah.
They learned that lesson from from 2000, fucking reason. They learned their lesson from that.
Yeah, and like during the pandemic, like Wild 'N Out was shooting episodes non-stop. Like all them episodes they got in the vault, ain't none of them motherfuckers coming out.
Yep, them bitches going right back in the vault.
Yep.
I'm telling you. Well, you
Yep.
thought. But yeah, man, shoot. I mean, we just gotta imagine that how much it affected everybody else on the show. So now everybody who ain't have nothing, have no real like second income after that, they right on the COVID block with us.
Right. To end it out, Marlon.
Nope.
Do you think, do you believe that Viacom will have a change of heart and say, "Here you go, man, take your business somewhere else"?
My initial thought was like, hell no. I was my initial thought. But you know what, though? At the end of the day, and here's why he got hope, right? Black culture drives the world right now. Whether they want to assume, whether they want to admit it or not, that's just facts. So a big part of, especially the younger generation culture, and it did start with the younger generation, but Wild 'N Out is a big part of this culture. Like Chappelle Show is a big part of like my culture, you know, at least in my generation, so on and so forth. Like Nick Cannon being a you can't just throw anybody else on Wild 'N Out and expect it to be still called Wild 'N Out and people gonna watch. It's not happening. So at some point, when there's a void of entertainment, they gonna want to revisit that conversation and go back to Nick and say, okay, we were too forceful. Let's try to work this out. I'm like I would say that the chances of that happening, I would put at like 19%. So for the most part, hell nah, he ain't going back. But still, it's a chance. It's a puncher's chance, but it's a chance.
It's not a hell nah, but yeah, nigga, you try harder. Try harder, baby.
All right, my brothers, that was beautiful. We'll do this again sometimes.
I look forward to it, bro.
All right. Now,
hold on. Before we even leave, are we gonna tell the chat? You know what I'm saying? We gotta make this sound like, you know what I'm saying? We got a whole chat room. We gonna tell everybody how long it took us to get this started? Or the technical difficulties it took?
Nah, brother, we ain't doing nothing.
Shoot. Nah, he ain't. I will. Bro, it took us a minute. I actually was able to run a whole set of Mortal Kombat games.
Ain't my fault that I'm new to this technology.
Came through in the clutch.
Black
That's right. That's right. Black excellence at its best, baby.